You wake up every morning to a world full of people who want something from you. Your boss wants your productivity. Your family wants your attention. Your friends want your approval. Your bills want your money. Even strangers on the street want your time, your energy, your sympathy. The question isn't whether people want something from you. They do. The question is, what are you going to do about it? Here's what most people do. They give and give and give until there's nothing left. They become victims of their own generosity, slaves to other people's expectations, prisoners of their own people-pleasing tendencies. They wonder why they feel empty, why they're always stressed, why their own dreams remain unfulfilled while they spend their lives fulfilling everyone else's. But there's another way. There's a way to turn this universal truth into your greatest advantage. Because here's what the successful understand that the struggling never learn: when you recognize that everyone wants something from you, you gain the power to choose what you give when you give it and what you get in return. I learned this lesson the hard way. For years I was the guy who couldn't say no. Someone needed help moving, I'd be there. A colleague needed overtime coverage, count me in. Family member needed money, my wallet was always open. I thought I was being kind, generous, helpful. What I was actually being was stupid. One day I found myself broke, exhausted, and resentful. I had given so much to everyone else that I had nothing left for myself. My dreams were collecting dust, my goals were forgotten, my potential was being wasted on other people's priorities. That's when it hit me. I wasn't helping anyone by being a doormat. I was just teaching them that my time, energy, and resources had no value. So let me ask you, how much of your life are you giving away for free? How many hours have you spent this week on other people's priorities instead of your own? How many favors have you done expecting nothing in return, only to feel frustrated when those same people disappear when you need help? The truth is harsh, but it's liberating. People will use you as much as you let them. They'll take your time, energy, money, and attention for as long as you keep giving it away. Not because they're evil, they're just being human. We all look for the path of least resistance. If someone will do our work for us, solve our problems for us, make our lives easier for free, why wouldn't we let them? But here's where it gets interesting. Once you understand this game, you can play it better than anyone else. Instead of being the victim who gets used, you become the strategist who uses this reality to build the life you want. Success isn't about avoiding people who want things from you. That's impossible. Success is about becoming someone whose value is so clear, so undeniable, that when people want something from you, they're willing to give you something valuable in return. Think about the most successful people you know. Do they say yes to everything? Do they give away their time for free? Do they solve everyone's problems without asking for anything back? Of course not. They understand their value, they protect their time, and they make sure every interaction benefits them in some way. This doesn't make them selfish. It makes them smart. Because when you value yourself properly, you can provide better value to others. When you protect your time, you can spend it on things that truly matter. When you charge what you're worth, you can afford to live the life you want. The first step in using this principle is recognizing your own value. Most people underestimate what they bring to the table. They focus on what they lack instead of what they offer. They see their experience as ordinary instead of valuable. They treat their skills as common instead of special. Start keeping track of what people ask from you. Notice patterns. Is it your expertise they want? Your connections? Your time? Your emotional support? Your problem-solving abilities? Whatever it is, that's your currency. That's what you have that others need. Next, start setting boundaries. This doesn't mean becoming cold or unreasonable. It means respecting your own time and energy enough to be selective about how you spend them. When someone asks for your help, ask yourself, what am I getting out of this? If the answer is nothing, you need to reconsider. This might feel uncomfortable at first. You might worry about what people will think. You might feel guilty for not being available to everyone all the time. That's normal. But remember, the people who truly care about you will respect your boundaries. The ones who don't were probably just using you anyway. Now let's talk about how to turn requests into opportunities. When someone wants something from you, that's not just a demand on your time. It's a chance to negotiate. Maybe they want your expertise. Great. What do you want in return? Maybe they want an introduction to someone in your network. Fine. What connection can they make for you? Start thinking like a trader. Everything has value. Your time has value. Your knowledge has value. Your network has value. Your attention has value. Stop giving these things away for free just because someone asks nicely. This doesn't mean being calculating in every interaction. It means being strategic about your generosity. Help people, but help them in ways that also move your life forward. Solve problems, but solve the ones that also build your skills or reputation. For example, if someone asks for career advice, don't just give it over coffee and call it even. Offer to mentor them in exchange for help with a project you're working on. If someone wants an introduction to a contact of yours, make the introduction, but ask them to introduce you to someone in their network too. The beauty of this approach is that it benefits everyone. You get value for your time and effort. They get help with their problems. Your relationship becomes mutually beneficial instead of one-sided. And ironically, when you stop being desperate to help everyone, you become more valuable and people want your help even more. But let's go deeper. This principle applies to more than just individual interactions. It applies to your career, your relationships, your entire life approach. In your career, recognize that your employer wants something from you, your skills, your time, your dedication. That's fine. But what do you want from them? Don't just accept whatever they offer. Negotiate for what you need: better pay, more responsibilities, growth opportunities, flexible schedules. If they want your best work, they should be willing to provide an environment where you can do your best work. The same applies to relationships. Your partner wants things from you: love, support, companionship, security. But what do you want? Don't just give everything and hope for the best. Communicate your needs clearly. Expect reciprocity. A healthy relationship is one where both people are getting what they need. Even in friendships, this principle applies. True friends want to give as much as they receive. They celebrate your successes, support your goals, and contribute to your life in meaningful ways. If you have friends who only show up when they need something, those aren't friends. They're users. Now, some of you might be thinking, but what about genuine generosity? What about helping people without expecting anything back? What about being a good person? Here's the thing: recognizing your value and setting boundaries doesn't make you less generous. It makes your generosity more meaningful. When you choose to help someone from a position of strength rather than obligation, your help is more genuine. When you give because you want to, not because you can't say no, your giving has real impact. Plus, taking care of yourself first puts you in a better position to help others. You can't pour from an empty cup. If you're constantly drained from giving everything away, you have nothing left for the people who truly matter. But when you protect your resources and use them wisely, you can make a real difference when it counts. The goal isn't to become selfish. The goal is to become selective, to be intentional about where you spend your energy, to make sure that your generosity is sustainable and your kindness isn't being exploited. This brings us to an important distinction. There's a difference between people who appreciate your help and people who expect it. People who appreciate it will be grateful, reciprocate when they can, and respect your boundaries. People who expect it will take without giving, assume your availability, and get upset when you're not at their disposal. Learn to identify the difference. The appreciators are worth your time and energy. The expectors are not. Don't waste precious years of your life trying to satisfy people who will never be satisfied. Let's talk about specific strategies for implementing this principle in your daily life. First, start saying, "Let me think about it," instead of immediately saying yes to requests. This simple phrase gives you time to consider whether the request aligns with your goals and whether you're getting fair value for your contribution. Second, practice the art of counter offers. When someone asks for your time or help, don't just say yes or no. Say, I can help you with that, if you can help me with this. Make it a trade, not a gift. Third, set clear rates for your valuable time. If people want your professional expertise outside of work, charge for it. If someone wants extensive career counseling, coaching, or consultation, treat it like the professional service it is. Your knowledge and experience have value, act like it. Fourth, create windows of availability instead of being available all the time. Tell people when you can help. I have 2 hours on Saturday morning, or I can review this next Tuesday, instead of dropping everything whenever they need something. Fifth, learn to delegate up. When someone brings you a problem they could solve themselves, don't solve it for them. Ask them what they think they should do. Guide them to the solution instead of providing it. This teaches them to be self-sufficient and respects your time. The most successful people in any field understand this principle intuitively. They know their worth. They protect their time. They create systems that benefit them even as they help others. They've learned that the best way to help everyone is to first make sure they can help themselves. Think about any successful entrepreneur. They didn't build their business by giving away their products for free to anyone who asked. They created value and charged for it. They reinvested their profits to create even more value. They helped their customers by providing excellent service at fair prices, not by giving everything away. The same principle applies to your personal life. You are the CEO of your own existence. Your time, energy, skills, and attention are your products. Stop giving them away to anyone who asks. Start charging what they're worth. Start investing in relationships and opportunities that give you something back. Now here's where this gets really powerful. When you start operating from this principle, something interesting happens. You stop attracting users and start attracting contributors. Quality people are drawn to other quality people. When you value yourself, others value you too. You'll notice that the people who get upset when you set boundaries were probably taking advantage of you anyway. Good riddance. The people who respect your boundaries and are willing to give value in return, those are the relationships worth cultivating. This principle also makes you more confident and decisive. When you know your worth and protect your value, you naturally become more selective about opportunities. You stop chasing every possibility and start focusing on the ones that truly matter. You become someone who shapes their circumstances instead of just reacting to them. But let's address the fear that holds most people back from implementing this approach. The fear of being alone. Many people stay in user relationships because they're afraid that setting boundaries will leave them isolated. They'd rather be used than be alone. This fear is understandable but misguided. Yes, you might lose some relationships when you start valuing yourself properly. But here's what you'll gain: relationships based on mutual respect and benefit. Connections with people who see your worth and are willing to contribute to your life as much as they take from it. Quality over quantity, always. One genuine friendship is worth more than 10 user relationships. One mutually beneficial professional connection is better than 20 people who just want free advice. Moreover, when you're not constantly drained by users, you have more energy to build meaningful relationships with contributors. You become more interesting, more confident, more valuable as a friend and colleague. People want to be around someone who has their life together, not someone who's constantly overwhelmed by other people's demands. Let's talk about the workplace specifically, because this is where many people struggle with this principle. You might think, but my boss pays me, so I have to do whatever they ask. That's partially true, but not completely. Yes, your boss pays you for your basic responsibilities. But what about the extra projects, the overtime requests, the urgent tasks that somehow become your problem? What about the colleague who always needs your help but never offers to help you? Here's how to apply this principle at work. Be excellent at your core responsibilities. That's what you're paid for. But for everything extra, start negotiating. I can take on this additional project, but I'll need to adjust the timeline on my other deliverables. Or I can help you with this, but I'll need your help with X next week. Build a reputation as someone who delivers value but who also values themselves. Be known as the person who gets things done but who also has boundaries. This actually makes you more valuable, not less, because people know they can count on you to be honest about what you can deliver. The people who advance in organizations aren't usually the ones who say yes to everything. They're the ones who are strategic about what they take on and who make sure their contributions are recognized and rewarded. Now let's address relationships again, because this area confuses people the most. They think that love means being available all the time, solving all problems, sacrificing everything for the other person. That's not love. That's codependency. Real love involves two people who are whole on their own, choosing to build something together. It means supporting each other while maintaining your individual identity and goals. It means being generous with your partner while also ensuring your own needs are met. If you're in a relationship where you're giving everything and getting little back, that's not a loving relationship, it's an enabling relationship. You're not helping your partner by solving all their problems and meeting all their needs. You're preventing them from growing and taking responsibility for their own life. The strongest relationships are partnerships where both people bring value to the table, where both people have their own goals and support each other in achieving them, where both people contribute to the household, the emotional well-being, and the future they're building together. If your partner expects you to handle everything while they coast, you're not in a partnership. You're in a caretaking relationship, and that's not sustainable for anyone. This principle also applies to family relationships. Yes, family is important. Yes, we should help our relatives when they need it. But family members can be users too. In fact, they're often the worst users because they cloak their requests in obligation and guilt. But where family is not a reason to drain yourself financially or emotionally. Set boundaries with family members just like you would with anyone else. Help when you can, but don't sacrifice your own well-being or future for relatives who won't help themselves. Some of the most stressed, unhappy people I know are those who can't say no to family members. They're constantly bailing out the same relatives who make the same mistakes over and over. They're enabling destructive behavior in the name of love. Real love sometimes means saying no. It means allowing people to face the consequences of their choices so they can learn and grow. It means protecting your own stability so you can actually be there when someone truly needs help. Let's talk about the art of saying no, because this is a skill most people never develop. They think saying no means offering elaborate explanations and apologies. It doesn't. The word no is a complete sentence. Can you help me move this weekend? No, I can't. That's it. No need to explain that you have other plans or justify why you can't help. No need to apologize for having your own life. Of course you can be polite about it. I wish I could help, but I can't this weekend. But you don't owe anyone a detailed explanation of why you're not available to solve their problems. The people who get angry when you say no are usually the ones who are used to taking advantage of you. Their anger is actually confirmation that you're doing the right thing. People who respect you will accept your no and look for other solutions. Practice saying no in low-stakes situations. First, when the barista asks if you want to upgrade to a large coffee and you don't, say no. When a store clerk tries to sell you a warranty you don't need, say no. Build your no muscle so it's strong when you need it for bigger situations. Now let's discuss the long-term benefits of living by this principle. When you stop being a people pleaser and start being a value creator, your entire life trajectory changes. You start attracting better opportunities because successful people want to work with other successful people. You build stronger relationships because they're based on mutual respect and benefit. You achieve your goals faster because you're not constantly distracted by other people's emergencies. You develop genuine self-confidence because you know your worth and you protect it. You become more decisive because you're clear about your priorities. You experience less stress because you're not overcommitted and overwhelmed. Most importantly, you start living your own life instead of spending all your time living everyone else's. You pursue your dreams, build your future, and create the life you want instead of just reacting to whatever others demand from you. But this transformation doesn't happen overnight. It requires consistent practice and constant vigilance. The users will test your boundaries. They'll try to make you feel guilty for not being available to them anymore. They might even call you selfish or mean. Don't let them manipulate you back into your old patterns. Remember that their opinion of your boundaries is none of your business. You're not responsible for managing their emotions or solving their problems. Stay focused on your goals. Remind yourself why you're making these changes. Keep track of the benefits you're experiencing. The extra time, the reduced stress, the better relationships, the progress toward your goals. Create systems that support your new approach. Schedule time for your own priorities first, then see what's left for others. Build a network of mutually beneficial relationships. Develop multiple streams of value so you're not dependent on any one person or opportunity. The principle, everyone wants something from you, use it before they use it against you, is ultimately about taking control of your life. It's about recognizing that you have something valuable to offer and making sure you get fair value in return. It's about understanding that your time, energy, and resources are limited and precious. They should be invested wisely, not given away carelessly. It's about building a life where your generosity comes from abundance, not obligation. Where your relationships are based on mutual respect and benefit. Where your success enables you to help others in meaningful ways. This principle will change how you see every interaction, every relationship, every opportunity. Instead of automatically asking, "How can I help?" you'll start asking, "How can this be mutually beneficial?" Instead of being afraid to say no, you'll become strategic about saying yes. You'll stop being a victim of other people's demands and start being the architect of your own life. You'll transform from someone things happen to into someone who makes things happen. The world will always be full of people who want something from you. That will never change. But you can change how you respond to those wants. You can stop being a resource that others mine for free and start being a valuable partner in mutually beneficial exchanges. You can stop giving your life away piece by piece and start building the life you actually want to live. The choice is yours. You can continue being everyone's go-to person for free. Help, watching your dreams slip away while you fulfill everyone else's goals. Or you can recognize your value, set your boundaries, and start using the universal truth that everyone wants something from you to create the life you deserve. Which will you choose? Remember, your value doesn't depend on how much you give away for free. Your worth isn't measured by how available you are to solve other people's problems. Your goodness isn't determined by how often you say yes to requests. Your value is inherent. Your time is precious. Your energy is finite. Your life is yours to live. Stop apologizing for having boundaries. Stop feeling guilty for expecting reciprocity. Stop sacrificing your future for people who won't even remember your sacrifices next month. Start treating yourself like someone valuable. Start protecting your time like the precious resource it is. Start building relationships based on mutual benefit and respect. The people who truly care about you will support these changes. They want you to succeed and be happy. They don't want you to burn yourself out trying to please everyone. The people who resist these changes, who try to make you feel guilty for setting boundaries, who expect your constant availability without offering anything in return, those people are showing you exactly why you needed boundaries in the first place. Trust the process. Trust yourself. Trust that you deserve relationships and opportunities that add value to your life instead of just draining it. Your life is not a charity. Your time is not free. Your energy is not unlimited. Your dreams are not less important than everyone else's needs. Stop living like they are. Start living like someone who knows their worth and expects others to recognize it too. Start living like someone who understands that the best way to help others is to first help yourself. Start living like someone who knows that everyone wants something from you and who's smart enough to use that knowledge to build the life they want. The time for being everyone's doormat is over. The time for being strategic about your generosity has begun. The time for building a life based on your own values and priorities is now. Everyone wants something from you. The question is, what are you going to do about it? Use it. Before they use it against you. Your future self is counting on the choices you make today. Don't let them down.